What up, Lost? What is going on, YouTube? We are just getting started with a little Amazon FBA Q&A. As always, we got the TikTok live here. You guys are going to have to excuse me. I'm leaning back in my chair today. We're in laxed mode. But yeah, don't share the exact products that I sell. Again, I would hope for obvious reasons, but I do share... I do share the categories, the criteria that I use, and all of that. Lost, thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate you. How about we do this, y'all? If we get to 3K likes and 30 shares, I will show live Amazon sales for the day. It has been a minute since we've done that. So make sure you guys go check it out. Oops, I did not mean to do that. There you go. I accidentally gave you guys a couple of the shares. I'm stuck between starting arbitrage and private label. MGR, go watch my last video that I just posted. I asked AI what the best business model on Amazon is, and you can hear the analytical version first in my last, oops, there's that last video. I'm obviously biased. Anybody who talks about arbitrage is going to be biased. So you have to decide which business model is best for you. But if we were to break it down, private label is more evergreen. And also has higher margins, even with advertising. And advertising shouldn't be something that scares anybody. It's actually like a positive thing on Amazon, especially when you dial it in. Sorry, I wanted to turn my brightness up there. What's your social SSN and mom's maiden name is like asking what you sell. Some people honestly, Lost, I do think they ask it innocently. I think it's just out of curiosity. Like they see the numbers and they're like, oh, what do you sell? I don't think it's like, oh, I'm trying to sell that product. But then I think the other side, and that's maybe the majority, where they're like, oh, you make good numbers. I want to know what you sell so that I can launch the exact same products that you do. Hence why nobody who makes content, or almost nobody, shares the exact products that they sell, unless it's in a super difficult category like supplements or something. Fearless, thank you so much for the follow. Tips on picking a product. Yes, couple things. Second to last video that I watched, I would go watch that if you have not already on TikTok. It's a great video. And I mentioned something that I think everyone who goes through the product research phase needs to hear and understand. It's a numbers game. So this is my first piece of advice. It's a numbers game. Do not get discouraged if you go look at 5 products and can't find anything. If anything, I look at 5 products in like a few minutes, like 5 minutes. It's a numbers game. Make sure that you have good product criteria and just keep looking. Hattie, thank you so much for the follow. What about wholesale? I don't like wholesale either. I would definitely need a mentor. I'm afraid to lose my first 3K on the first try. Yeah, man. I mean, even with the mentor, there's no guarantees in business, right? But I can speak from personal experience that without having mentors, I would not have started this business model. And my cousins were my mentors when I first started, for those of you who are new. I wouldn't have started, and B, I would not be in the position or have had the success that I did. What do you think about e-com? I do mentor Hattie, and I know him. He's the homie, good dude. I think that I have the Harvard of Amazon FBA private label education in my mentorship. That being said, I know him, and we went to high school together. Actually, we weren't like close in high school. We became friends, we became friends like after we started selling on Amazon. Not together, separately, but we started selling around the same time. What do I do if my shipments are just lost with the tracking, being stuck in transit? Give it a minute. Don't stress out about your guys' shipments because Amazon's not going to tell you that they're lost if the shipment's not closed. If the shipment's closed, then reconcile the shipment but never stress until a shipment gets closed, because sometimes there's a delay, sometimes there's like lost units, right? But they're not actually lost and they just appear back into your inventory. I do mentor MGR. What are your profit margins? On this account, 40%. Across all accounts, the average is 35. I'm gonna be honest, you and another dude are on the top of my list for March. I appreciate that, MGR. Let's go. And whoever you decide, I wish you Godspeed on your journey, my friend. Is 3K enough for your mentorship and starting the business? Nah, it is not. It is not. Yeah, so you would, with the mentorship and to launch a product, I think that 6K would be the minimum. Hypothetical. What do you mean, Jonathan? Love from the UK. Let's go. Well, I've only been one place in the UK. That was London. And I won't go on a travel tangent, but I'm not a big city guy. Like, I don't like LA. Not the biggest fan of Vegas, even though I went there so much last year. Not a fan of New York. Chicago is cool. Not a fan of Bangkok, and wasn't big on Singapore. London, I actually kind of vibed with. Not to live, but because I can't do the rain, but it's a cool spot. 35% is pretty good. Yes, it is great. Because my shipments come in on around the 15th, but still stuck in transit. The 15th of this month, Leo? 6K, okay, cool. Yes, sir. I got 30K, 30 pounds. That's solid. At 18, bro, that's awesome, Hedy. Congratulations to you just for being there. That being said, yeah, man, I think I started Amazon when I was 19. It was a fun road, and if you're interested in it, dive into it head first. Only if you're interested. I'm not here to sell anybody on the business model of Amazon. If you don't want to do it, it makes no difference to me. But if you do, that's what the videos are for. That's what the lives are for, to help guide you guys in the same way that the mentors who helped me along the way did for me. Recommend sole proprietor or LLC. If you don't have the capital, sole proprietor. If the capital is not an issue, then LLC. Do I need an LLC while living in the US for Amazon FBA? No, you can start as a sole proprietor, which is linked to your social. A majority of your students still doing it? Yes. Can you explain how profiting from this works? I can. 15. Well, let me get to Leo's first real quickly. 15th of Feb. What do you mean the tracking is stuck? Says stuck in transit. Like, did your manufacturer say that they arrived, but the tracking is off? I would speak to whoever shipped your product, start communicating with them, and try to get to the bottom of it. But Tony, how does profiting from this work? So, I wish I had my whiteboard behind me. Maybe I should set something like that up. I need to figure that out. Or maybe, because we got the YouTube camera here, anyways, I'm thinking out loud. Sorry. It'd be cool to, on live, to write on the whiteboard. So we're going to have our cost of goods. We're going to have our shipping. We're going to have our FBA fees. You have to account for returns. And then you also have your ad spend. Okay. So to give you some perspective, I just placed an order for a product, 200 units, and it was $1,900. Okay, so boom, that's one expense. I also paid $800 for the shipping. Okay, boom, that's one expense. Just to keep it simple, I'm not going to use all of the one-time fees, because there is things like we paid to get a listing created, and you do have to account for that. So I'm not trying to say you should not account for those in your numbers. But let's just talk about like on reorders, for example. Okay. So we're $2,700 in, that's 200 units. We also have our FBA fees, but you don't pay your FBA fees unless it's storage until you actually get a sale on a product. All right. Now, let's say that I sold all 200 of those units. Let me pull out my calculator because I'm not good at mental math. So we're going to be selling that product for $49.99. Actually, would it be easier to share my screen? I think it might be. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to share my screen just really quickly so that you guys can get a better visualization of this on how it's actually possible to be profitable selling on Amazon. And I like the way the question was asked. You could tell just genuinely curious about it. Okay. So let's do this. All right. So YouTube, say what up to TikTok. TikTok, say what up to YouTube. We're going to use both the FBA fee calculator and a actual calculator to show you. So these are the actual dimensions of a product that I am launching on Amazon. Okay. That's the weight. We're going to be selling the product for $59.99. And the product is in the, hold on, I have to look over here, home and kitchen category. So we're going to estimate. Of course, it wants to give me trouble when we're doing this. So look, this is going to break down my fees. So let's actually plug this in here. So our cost of goods was I think it's $9.74. Wait, I guess I can check right here. Hold on. Yeah, $9.74. And then $4.05 per unit is our shipping. Okay. So here we're at a $21 profit, 35% net margin, and this is pre-PPC ads. All right. So let's say that I sold 200 units. I don't think, oh, that was a mistake. YouTube, I don't think you guys can see the calculator, so I do apologize for that. So $59.99 times 200 units. Okay. Hold on. We're gonna go deep on this just because I think it's gonna help out a lot of people. So I'm gonna pull up. I had to close out a document. That's why the phone is here. Okay, we're gonna go deep here. All right. So let's say total sales. Let's make this bigger so everybody can see it. So total sales. I'm just gonna do the numbers because I'm trying to keep it simple. I'm typing with one finger. Would be $11,998. Okay. We also have our FBA fees, $9.99 plus $12.64, and then we have our storage as well. So we got to keep that in mind. So $9.99. Let's say that our turnaround for this will be about like a month or so. Not times, plus $12.65 plus 0.39. Keep in mind, storage is charged per unit per month. Okay. So all in FBA fees, storage, assuming that we have a 1 month turnaround, we have, okay, this is what we're paying to Amazon. So FBA fees, oops, that's not what we wanted to show. What did I just show? Okay, we're good. It's okay. Sweet. Where was I? Got thrown off. Let me actually close that so I don't open it up again. Okay, sweet. 11,000 FBA fees are going to be, what did we just say? $4,606. That's what we pay to Amazon. And then remember, our cost of goods per unit was $9.74 times 200 units. So that is 1,948. So cost of goods, bear with me here, typing with one finger, 1,948. And then we have our shipping. Okay. So shipping is $4.05 times 200 units, $810. Okay. Oops, sorry. 810. Yeah, $810. 810. Okay. So 11,998, it would be our total sales. Cost of goods, 1,948. Shipping, $810. FBA fees, 4,606. Now, one thing I want everyone to keep in mind is that on my first order, I'm trying to get proof of concept on a product. I'm not trying to run to the bank and be like, oh, look how much money I made. I want to see, does this product sell before I pour a bunch of gas on the fire, AKA ordering more than 100 to 300 units. All right. So I want that to be, everyone to keep that in mind, because going back to this really quick, I, on my first order, want to be at a 30% profit margin minimum before ads, but you do still have to account for ads. So let's even say with ads, let's say that I spent 15% of my total sales on advertising. So then we have 11,998 times a 0.15% tacos. So that would bring our ad spend. And this is, again, as you order more units, your cost of goods comes down per unit. So this is only 200. How much is it going to be if we order 1,000 units? We'll probably get this number in the 8s. What happens when it's 2,000 units? We probably get this number in the 7s or lower, and so on and so forth until, we max out and just cannot get it any lower. At some point, it would probably not lower in dollar increments, but by a few cents. So ad spend, we're just going to round up and call it $1,800. Also, YT, I cannot see if anybody's typing in there. We're doing a little presentation. You guys can only see the FBA fee calculator here. Okay, so now we have all this. Let's add it all up, right? Because everyone wants to say, what about ad spend? So these are all of your expenses. And let's break it down. So 11,000. And again, on your first test run order where your profit is not supposed to be the most, okay? Because eventually I'm going to be at a 30% profit margin after ad spend. That's my goal on an established product. But minus 1,948 equals minus 4,606 equals minus 1,800. Boom. So that's going to bring my total profit to $3,644 on my first order. Okay. Now, there's one more thing that I was going to mention. I might have just drawn a blank on it. Yeah, I did. But there you have it. How you can be profitable on Amazon. Very, 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 very possible. These are literally the numbers for a product that we are selling. So it's as real as it gets on a brand new account. Can't say, oh, but you're an established seller, this. I'm going to start all over just like everybody else who has never sold on Amazon. And yeah, so I hope that helped. Hopefully I think of the thought that I was just thinking of. It comes back to me. Let's go. What up, my guy? Just left you WhatsApp. Yes, sir. Chris, good to see you, brother. It's been a minute. Richard, good to see you, my friend. Let's get back to these questions. Kevin, thank you for sharing the live. Do I need anything else? Yeah, I answered that. How old are you? I am 25. Do you think FBA is saturated? Hedy, if Amazon FBA is saturated, then every business model in the world is saturated, right? You should never open up a new restaurant because there's too many restaurants. Nobody should ever open up another McDonald's franchise because there's too many McDonald's or Subways. Nobody should ever open up a clothing brand. Oh, that one I might agree with. No, but really, nobody should ever open up a clothing brand. Nobody should ever start a construction company because there's too many construction companies. Nobody should be a realtor because there's too many realtors. In fact, there's too many humans. The world is oversaturated. So we shouldn't compete in the job market because there's too many people who want to get the same job as us. We shouldn't, I can go on and on and on and on and on. That being said, no, I do not think Amazon FBA is saturated. Anything worth doing is going to have competition. If there is zero competition in a marketplace, that means that nobody's probably making money in it and nobody's doing it. In fact, competition on Amazon is a good thing. I'm going to repeat that. Competition on Amazon is a good thing. It's not a roadblock. It's not a barrier to entry. It's a roadmap for what's working well. It is literally a blueprint. It's like when I'm launching a product on Amazon, I'm looking at my competition to see how I should differentiate my product, to see how I should improve my product. They're literally telling me what already works, and I'm able to go improve upon that. Competition on Amazon is not a bad thing. Does that mean that every market on Amazon you should go into? No, absolutely not. But Amazon as a whole, the largest e-commerce platform in the world, no. I have a 9 to 5. What days and times is your mentorship? It's lifetime access, goes at your own pace. We do weekly group calls every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. But if you're not able to make those calls, all of those calls are recorded and posted into the curriculum. You're able to reach out for support whenever, at any time. And you're able to schedule your one-on-one call with me whenever I have availability, which is every week. Yo, what up, Kevin? Yeah, my manufacturer said it was delivered already. However, my tracking says it's still in transit. Have you told them about the situation? And if so, what did they say? Is it smart to send your product to AWD, then have it moved to facilities? I see lower fees. No, not unless you plan on storing products at AWD. Like if it's literally just to avoid fees, you're actually going to end up paying more in the long run. How do you look for trending products? I do not look for trending products because trends die down, and I don't want something that's going to dwindle down. I want something that will be evergreen forever. Is it wise to sell quantity of 1,000 pieces in an item? Not as a new seller, no. Start with a test run order of 100 to 300 units. F10 David, thank you so much for the follow. Tony, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate both of you. When I order a product from overseas, can I have it shipped directly to Amazon? Yes, Jeffrey, that's actually what I do. What separates your listings from Amazon's? Well, most of my categories, I'm not competing against Amazon, Goofy, but I differentiate my products better. My listing quality is better. My PPC ads are better. How much ad spend would you recommend first month if you have money? Well, good thing is the ad spend is not necessarily coming out of your pocket if your margins support it and you don't lose. You're not bleeding money on ads, which I think is fairly easy to at least break even. So now hopefully you sell it in a month, the latest. Yeah, more like it's going to be like 1 to 3 months. So you will pay a month of storage fees on some of the units. Where do you go to set up your PPC ads? Amazon's Campaign Manager. In your Seller Central account. Let's say I picked a saturated product but improved it with a manufacturer and branding. Feasible or no? I wouldn't go into a super competitive market. No. Can we choose how many units we can send to Amazon? Example, 150 units. Can I send that? Yes. Bro, we should stop breathing. Too many people breathe. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You said you help us become profitable with our first product, right? I fear losing my first 6K. I can't guarantee success for anybody who starts a business because only God himself can guarantee you success in something that you do. But I can guide you in the right direction. I can give you all the strategies that I literally implement to a T in my product launches, help you make sure that you are profitable on a product. In terms of like help you become profitable, like I help you make sure that you are profitable, how to verify a product, how to vet a product, how to differentiate a product, how to optimize a listing. Are you Arab? I'm Egyptian. No, brother, there's only one God, Kevin, the man upstairs. I'm asking because I'm Egyptian too. Let's go. That's what's up, bro. I'd speak to you in Arabic, but my Arabic sounds like a white boy saying it. User 57, thank you so much for the follow. Thoughts on drop shipping? Not for me, but it's cool. People clearly make money with it. Do you have any tips on how I can find good products with good sales per month? Yes, I have lots of videos on my exact methods on how to do product research on YouTube, on TikTok. I recently posted one on TikTok. It's probably within my last 15, 20 videos. So yeah, I would follow those methods because that's exactly what I do for product research. Also, watch my second to last TikTok video that I posted. That one is talking about how I have found hundreds of winning products to sell on Amazon. help us recommend a product in your mentorship. I teach you guys how to do product research. I do have a product selection option where, based on the criteria that I use and teach, I will select your product for you, but that is an additional charge. Yo, 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 yo. What up, Air Stick? Good to see you in the YT chat. No, that doesn't include the product selection. After how many sales should I start PPC ads? It's not about after how many sales, it's after how many reviews. I get 10 to 15 reviews before running PPC ads. Why do you prefer Amazon FBA over dropshipping? Full transparency, that's what I was introduced to, right? Had my cousins done dropshipping, maybe I would be sitting here talking to you guys about dropshipping, but that's not the case. It was Amazon FBA private label. Why did my brightness get so dark? So mentorship, you recommend 6. If you wanted product selection, it would be more like 8K. Yeah, like 8K. Perfect. Thank you, brother. All your info has helped me tremendously. God bless you, Jose. I love that, bro. And that is why I make content. I don't think I've posted the video. I think it's in my TikTok draft still. I'll give you guys a little sneak peek. But there's 2 reasons why I make content. Number 1, I wanted to be a teacher I wanted to teach people in the same way that those who brought so much value to me on my Amazon journey taught me. My cousins, there was people, online that I sought out their information and it was just solid. And most of the time it wasn't the most subscribed person or the most viewed videos where I got the best info. And I was like, man, I had to search and search and search to find these people, but I'm so blessed and happy that I did because it made all the difference to my company. And so I was like, man, like how much of an insult would it be for me to have all this information and not share it with others as others shared it with me? So that's number 1. And then the selfish reason why I make content is for that comment that Jose just left right here. It selfishly makes me feel good when people say how much the things that I talk about in my videos, my lives, help them. So I do this for y'all. I appreciate you. Haven't seen 4chan in a while. Yeah, he told me he had some life things going on last we spoke. How fast would you say a beginner in your mentorship can sell their full inventory? I can't guarantee anything, again, as I said, but on average, after launching, I see it happen in like 1 to 3 months on average. Have there been people who it took them longer than 3 months? Yes, but that is usually what I will see. Especially if you have a product where it needs optimizations. In fact, usually less than 3 months, not less than 1 month. Hey, let's go. I love that comment. Arturo, God bless you, bro. Hold on, there we go. We got to pin that comment right there. Arturo in the TikTok live just says, I just joined your program. I'm already amazed at how organized it is. I appreciate that, Arturo. I hope that you get a lot of value. Number 1. Number 2, welcome to the program and can't wait for you to go on your Amazon FBA journey with the AMZ Masterclass family. Were you able... let me see, Arturo. Make sure that you get in the Facebook group so that you're able to stay up to date on the Zoom calls and everything like that. $3 months, dang, if I'm investing 8K, I want to profit the first month. That's just not a realistic thing, brother. Yeah. It's not that you're being ungrateful. I totally understand that. But there's very few businesses in the world where you're going to start and then next day you wake up and you're profiting money. Digital products or digital services, you could do that with. flipping products on eBay, you could do that with. But even arbitrage, for example, even eBay, if you start with $20 on eBay and you turn that $20 into $100, you could be like, oh, I profited 80 and I'm going to use this 80 to fund my lifestyle. But then you're left with $20 and you're making these small flips as opposed to turning the 20 into 100, into 1,000, into 10,000. And now your flips are becoming much more consistent and bigger where you're able to take profits. If you start a construction company, you will not profit day one, month one. If you start a franchise, you will likely not profit month. I'm pretty sure franchises have like the plan of how long it takes you to become profitable. If you start a restaurant, insert business here, you will not be profitable on month one. So I do want to make sure that you guys have realistic expectations when starting a business. It took me 1 year after I was profitable month one, but I wasn't making profit month one because of the fact that you have to reinvest in your business. It took me 1 year before I left my 9 to 5. Cost of goods is going to be much higher your first order, and you'll have to pay for imaging. Yeah. And the thing is, what happens when you grow? What happens when you go from 100 to 200 units and you're like, but I want to take the profit from that 100 units, but now you don't have enough inventory to order 200 units. And now you're constantly running out of stock. The biggest issue for a successful business, Amazon business, is inventory. Because you have to dump so much money into inventory that if you start pulling cash from the business, you're going to bleed the business dry before it even has a time to get going. And also, you don't have to get the product selection option, brother. You can. I teach you guys in depth how to do product selection or product research in the program, multiple different methods. We have multiple different lessons that you can go back and watch, like live Zoom calls of me doing live product research. That's just for people who want to fast track the time for product research. I don't expect profit first 6 months to scale it up. Yep, 6 months to a year. When do you start taking profit? 6 months to a year, about 3 to 5 reorders is when you can, but you're going to realize as you start the business that again, I could have theoretically at the 6 month mark. I don't know if I would have had the same growth if I did at the 6 month mark, because I'm like, oh man, well, I could leave my job and have my Amazon business fund my lifestyle, or I can invest the money that would fund my lifestyle into my Amazon business to have more tremendous growth and stick to my 9 to 5 for another 6 months. Not to mention, I gave my job a 6 month notice, not your average 2 week notice, because my mentors who taught me how to sell on Amazon were the ones who employed me. I consider myself profitable, but those profits are to scale the business. Let's go, Chris. That brings a big smile to my face. Chris, one of the mentorship students, it brings me a big smile to my face to hear that you're at that level. And exactly, bro. Again, and on your first order, you're not going to make that much profit because you still have the ads. You have to establish the product. You have to pay to establish the product with ads, with reviews. Okay, so in that case, I'll keep my 9 to 5 for 6 months or until I can start paying myself. Yes, exactly. Don't quit your day job for Amazon. That's for sure. Have you ever launched a new product for Q4? How far ahead were you thinking? Not a product for Q4. I never tried to launch a product during like this time because you'll notice that there's always delays and things happen. I just launch a product when I'm ready to launch it. So I have launched products during Q4 and it's been great. But I never am like, oh, I have to have this Q4 product. I've done consulting for people who had seasonal products, and it's very interesting to see how they navigate things and the ins and outs. But what's the longest you've had selling one product? Well, I don't own my first company that I started anymore. So that being said, for 5 years. 5 years. I consider I answered that. Let's get it going. Make sure that you guys drop your questions down below, because if you guys don't have any more questions, then we can call it a night. But if you do, I will gladly answer all the questions. Also, if we get to 50 shares, I'll show live Amazon sales for the day as well. But if there are no other questions, none, okay, sick. On that note, everybody, if you guys like the lives, like the videos, and want, maybe more answers, help me make a decision. Curious, what was the decision that you made? I kind of want to be on live a little bit more. Let's keep it going. You guys got to give me some more questions, or maybe we just go on a rant about something. And let's get those 50 shares. I'll show live Amazon sales, choosing between arbitrage and private label. Nice, brother. Well, I'm glad that I was able to help you make that decision. Yeah, man. Private label. I mean, you hear it from arbitrage sellers. You can't talk to the arbitrage creators. And I tell people, don't even listen to me, because I'm biased towards private label. Oh, maybe I don't even know. Did you decide to do arbitrage? Was that it? But anyways, you can't talk to the people who are talking about the business model. Can't talk to me about whether you should do private label or arbitrage. You can't talk to an arbitrage guy about whether you should do private label or arbitrage. Who you have to talk about is the people who are boots on the ground, in the sense, obviously we're also boots on the ground, but in the sense of the ones who are just getting started in those business models, or who have been doing it for about a year or so, or 6 months. Ask them their experience, because when they come into my lives, all the arbitrage and wholesale sellers always seem to be wanting to private label. Like I said, bro, it's not 8K with like a mentor. You don't have to get product selection, which is going to be an additional 2 Gs. So you can bring that down to 6, and then you can also just not, for example, have a mentor. There's free information. I think having a mentor is a lot easier. Having someone help you guide them along the journey. Seeing your sales shows me it's worth it. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not guaranteed, but it definitely is worth it when you find those winning products. I'm excited for this 0 to 1 mil series to officially get started. Online arbitrage seems like more time invested to get it up and running. More or less the same, but it's also just more time invested always. You're constantly sourcing products. You're constantly trying to reprice and I guess you're making optimizations with private label, but yeah. If you decide private label, the program is worth it because you'll save thousands on shipping alone. God bless you, Kevin, one of the mentorship students. And yes, that is another good point. Just the shipping service in most cases helps students save on shipping rates, and that, in itself pays for the program. I'm so invested, I'm willing to pull out of my 401k for this. I never necessarily recommend that, bro. And no, I'm happy for the questions, but I never necessarily recommend that. I'm always like a bootstrap kind of guy. I'm not the guy who's going to tell you to go get a loan. I'm not the guy who's going to tell you to put this business on credit. And I'm not going to be the guy who's going to tell you to cash out your 401k, especially to get my program. By all means, do not do that. If anything, it's just a slower turnaround. Amazon's not going to go away in 3 months if that's what it's going to take you to save up the money to get started. And there's nothing wrong with not being at a point where you're ready to start. I wasn't when I wanted to start either. So what did I do? I hustled and I worked a little bit extra for me to be able to save up enough money. I don't know if you were in the live yesterday, MGR, but things around the house, sell little items here and there on eBay, and just that you don't use, and just to get the ball rolling on some extra cash flow to have that. Is $900 a good price for a word mark? I'm working with partner from Amazon. I've gotten a few quotes. Yeah, that's a good price. That's cool, bro. I have a lot in there doing nothing. I'd rather invest it. I hear you. I definitely hear you. I know people who have done it. So trying to get into brand registry with at least word mark, trademark, or should I go logo and word? Nah, I think word is well good enough. Do you sell products to people if they can't find one, or just the course? Then you can pick the product. Yeah, I have the product selection option for my mentorship students. I think that's what you're asking, right? How much should you spend on ads? There was a way that I really wanted to ask this, but shout out to SS. She's always in the live. So I won't, I'll tell you how I wanted to answer it after I answer it the proper way. There's not a one size fits all answer to how much you should spend on ads. I like to start with like, I don't even like answering it like this. You set the budget. I like to start with 3 to 5 campaigns. It's what you're willing to spend and what you're willing to test with. But understand that you do have to pay to play, but you don't have to pay a lot to test. I was going to say, you should go. I was going to give out a number and say that's how much you should spend on your next car. Why was I going to say that? Because you wouldn't ask me how much you're going to go spend on the car that you're going to go buy. It's what you're willing to spend. And yes, you don't want to spend like $1 a campaign or $2 a campaign. That's not even, you're not going to do anything with that. But like if I'm testing with $30 a campaign, that doesn't mean that you should test with $30 a campaign. You could start with 10. Start conservatively. One last question. When we start your mentorship, how many hours a week or a week and day should we spend? It goes at your own pace. So I have students who can dedicate more time to it than others. I've had students who knock out the whole program in a weekend, and I've had students where it takes them a couple weeks because of their schedule. And there's not a wrong answer or a wrong way to do it in either scenario. It's what works. The beauty of the program is I designed it so that it works around your schedule, not you work around any of my schedules or anything like that. Even the Zoom calls that we do, the group calls that we do every week. Like if you're not able to make it, okay, you could always ask a question that you want answered live in the Facebook group. And all of those calls are recorded and posted into the curriculum for you to always go back and watch. One last question. Oh, I answered that. Considering I have a 9 to 5, I need to know how much time I should spend. The beauty is also you don't have to remember all the content. You can always refer back to it. Yes, sir. That is another great point, Kevin. Cool. Thanks, champ. Of course. I appreciate y'all. I think I feel a little bit better about being live this long. If you guys like the lives, like the videos, and want a more in-depth guide on Amazon, I was about to say PPC, Amazon FBA, be sure to check out the AMZ Masterclass Mentorship in the TikTok bio. Make sure you guys go show some love to the last couple of TikTok videos I posted. Turn on those post notifications. We've got a lot of call to actions today at this end of the live. But most importantly, be sure to check out the AMZ Masterclass Mentorship Program. God bless you all. I appreciate you, and I hope everyone has a great night and great rest of your week, even though I'll be live tomorrow. My brush is messed up. Later, y'all.